Good evening. Hey. How's everybody doing? Happy Monday. Welcome to my live. I am going to be talking to you tonight about what to do if you're lacking job experience. And not that you've never had any job experience before, but if you are in your career, you've had some work experience, but it's not the work experience that the job that you're now looking to have requires necessarily. So what do you do about that? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. So as you come in, say hello. Let me know who's on, where you're tuning in from, so I can say hello back and know who's on my live. Welcome to it, by the way. I hope that you guys had a good day. I am not going to delay. So when people jump on, just say hello. So I am Vashana Weatherspoon, career strategist and excellence accelerator, helping women who feel frustrated in their careers to emerge from stuck and surge to their next level of success. I'm also the host of the Know Your Worth Career podcast that's centered around helping women who are experiencing challenges in their careers to figure out how to navigate them so that they can get to the place that they want to be in their careers, where they're having the impact that they want to have, earning the income that they want to earn, and having the growth and promotional opportunities that they deserve. Okay? Okay, got that. So, having said that, I am on talking about career related experiences, giving advice and guidance nightly, so that people who fit into this category will have a resource to be able to turn to get information that you need to help to move your career to your next level, whatever that looks like for you. And I'm a big proponent of not dictating to people what they should be looking for in a career, but for allowing people to decide for themselves what their careers should look like and helping them to figure out how to get to where they want to be. That's my ultimate goal. Okay? So tonight is going to be a little bit fun. I hope I can get your creative juices flowing. When we start to think about this whole idea of experience and how you represent that on your resume. But before I get started, of course, I want to give you the opportunity to tag a friend, a coworker, a loved one, invite them to this live so that they can hear this information, especially if they're struggling trying to find a job because they don't have job experience, or they don't have what they think is the appropriate job experience. Okay. So, and share. Hit the share button. Share this with people that you know, that you care about, so that they can have access to this information too. Don't keep it to yourself. I know you're tempted, but don't do that. Just go ahead and share. All right. So maybe you're one of the people who's gearing up for 2019, getting ready to get your job life on, if there's such a thing. But anyway, and you're trying to figure out, how you're going to strategize, how you're going to position yourself so that you are able to get that dream job that you want, that you're able to realign with your passions in terms of your work, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And if it's something that you haven't necessarily done before, or if you're ready to stretch and you're ready to grow, that's a great thing. I'm going to give you some ideas, some hints about how you can maneuver around this whole experience thing that holds a lot of people back. And all you have to do is get creative, right? Because we've all had work experience. Some of us have had quite a bit of work experience. And so when you're wanting to move from one career track to another one, it's just about getting creative and figuring out what transferable skills look like, because that's a big part of it. You have to be able to sell yourself and your transferable skills if you're trying to switch up careers and do something different. So I have some very practical examples that I'm going to share with you and use them to help you to think about how you can represent experience based upon them. And then you can take this, of course, and tweak it to your own experiences and your own situations. So when we're doing applications or completing our resumes and trying to apply for jobs, we're always thinking in terms of what experience that we've had in our jobs, that the jobs that we've been hired for, that we've been paid to do, what are the experiences that we've gained from those, and we look to those first and foremost. But you can also utilize unpaid work experience, volunteer experience, to help to meet those criteria for experience, right? Did everybody know that? If you knew that, type a 1 in the comment box so I can know who knew it. If you didn't know it, type a 2 so we can just see who knows the difference, who knew that you could use that. So here, my first example is, say you've been the leader of a youth organization. Maybe it was the Girl Scouts or some youth leadership program for girls. And I'm just picking on girls because, you know, I target women and I help women. So why not help the girls? But anyway, so just think about what duties did you perform? Even if it was unpaid, you still had a set of duties that you fulfilled when you went to that organization and you helped out that girls group or you led that group. What were your duties? And then what we want to do is think about how can you creatively phrase them so that they're relevant to the work environment that you're trying to get yourself into. So for a youth leadership program and you're the leader of it, then you might have things like being responsible for managing or facilitating the weekly meetings because your organization or your group met weekly. You might have created meeting schedules and coordinated meetings. So when they were going to happen, how long they were going to take place, what was going to be discussed, where it was going to be held, all of those kinds of things. Those are skills that you use in the workplace. Planning and your activities. Planning activities for the week, the month, the year. Those are all skills that you use in the workplace. Demonstrating or your organizational skills, right? So gathering supplies, making appropriate purchases for materials and that kind of thing. In the workforce, we call that planning and procurement. So those are things that you can definitely use. Then you have budget. Maybe you created a budget for all this procurement that you were going to be making and monitor that budget to make sure that you didn't overspend. That's called budget formulation and management. Very key skills that you can use in a job. And then maybe you prepare some kind of report for your local organization that oversaw the group so that you can have some accountability. That's something that you want to make note of on your resume. So when you volunteer, your skills and experiences that you gain are going to be different, and it's going to be different depending on the type of volunteering that you do. So let's just assume that you volunteered for a local nonprofit. And by the way, that's a great way to get some experience because a lot of them don't have a lot of capital. They don't have a lot of staff. And if someone comes in who, you know, seems like they're at least reliable, they are probably going to be more than willing to allow you to volunteer your time. I've volunteered at state institutions, I volunteered at a mental health organization at one time. That was pretty fun. And that was before, it was while I was in college. And I got to see these real patients and they would let me sit in the room with them by myself and talk to them and interview them and ask them questions. And it was really, really fun. believe it or not. Um, and different other things that I've done also in terms of volunteering. But just to get you to see, these are real life work experiences that you are gaining, whether you realize that you can use them or not. I definitely utilized mine. And so you might be, first of all, you're going to be coming to work on time, right? You're going to show up when you're supposed to be there, and you're going to be ready to work when you get there. That's good work ethic. All right. And then you're going to, this is a nonprofit, so you'll be doing something like sorting mail, maybe, depending on how large it is. Or, I even have mail in my house that gets to the point where it needs sorting. So that's something that you can realistically think about. Maybe it's planning and carrying out mass mailings for the program because they're trying to get the word out about some event that they're going to be having. That would be something that you could also be responsible for in your job with the organization or company. Then maybe when the leader was out, you stepped in and you volunteered, or you stepped in and filled in as the leader when the supervisor was out. Now that is some great experience to get, especially if you're trying to get in some position where you have some level of leadership or supervision. You have not been a supervisor before in a paid job, but if you get some of that kind of experience in non-paid positions, it's just as valuable because those are skills that you're learning and they are transferable. And then maybe you designed or wrote some kind of monthly newsletter. Well, guess what? You're going to be writing some kind of material, whether it's a newsletter or maybe it's, some information for your website to highlight your program or whatever. All of that stuff counts and is valuable. Then maybe as another example, and these are just examples to get your juices flowing so you can see that, maybe some of the things that you've done and you have just discounted actually do qualify. A third thing is like if local political organizations, and maybe you volunteered or you held some position in that organization, even if it's non-paid. Maybe you were the committee chair for the fundraising events. That's a pretty big deal, especially if you were able to raise some money and you can talk about the impact that you had in that position. That's golden. And then maybe you planned and coordinated some fundraising events for the organization. You might have served as a co-chair for a meet and greet committee even. You could have developed activities to encourage people to join. Or to not join, but support. To support your nonprofit organization. And so I'm going to save the other one for the next thing. So the next one would be if you had done something for maybe like a professional organization or a business group. And I hope this is helping you to start to think more creatively about the things that you've done or the things that you can do if you're lacking that job experience to put on a resume. So maybe you develop marketing flyers for an organization. That's definitely something that a whole lot of businesses would love to have someone to be able to do for them, especially small businesses. Coordinated meetings for the members or the membership. Maybe they rotated around to different places and you helped to coordinate all of that. That's a great skill to have. Maybe you supervise a small staff of people. And they could even be non-paid people, but just a small group of people that kind of, round everybody up and get everybody on the same page in terms of what's going on within that group, professional group or business group. Or maybe you're handling the business side of things and helping to supervise that. That's really a great asset to have. And most hiring managers know all of those kinds of challenges that you have with trying to manage people, especially those that aren't being paid. So I think, a potential employer can appreciate that. And then you might have been responsible for setting up exhibits and providing information about your organization at public events that were local. Maybe you conducted phone interviews with new members. All of these are marketable skills, people, right? And my final example is volunteering for maybe a senior citizens center or a place where, they have developmentally challenged. It could be adults. It could be teens. Let's just go with adults for right now. That requires several skills, actually, and it requires a lot of responsibility. So even if you're not being paid, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with this kind of job. You might have provided companionship or supervision to an elderly adult or developmentally disabled or delayed or challenged, whatever word you want to use, adult, and you did that Monday through Friday for 2 or 3 years. That's some great experience to be able to put on your resume. You might have planned and organized activities, field trips. Maybe they went to the museum or the park or put together a fashion show or whatever you might have done. Those kinds of things are very helpful. Maybe you kept documentation of what the person did throughout the day so that you could share that with their family members so that they would know, that their loved one didn't just sit around in a corner all day. They actually had some things that they did that, helped them to have a little bit of enjoyment or to not be isolated and feel so alone, whatever. Anyway, you get the picture that these are kinds of things that you can include on a resume as your experience and skills that you've gained just from doing things that were completely voluntary and non-paid, but they count nevertheless. So use some of these examples that I've given you to get yourself some ideas flowing about how you can be creative in coming up with experiences to add to your resume to help you to be in a better position to get that job that you want in 2019, right? Showcase them on your resume, just like you would do those paid jobs so that you can reach your career goals, because that's what it's all about. Now, if you are a person who wants to make that next move, you want to in 2019 really be, tearing it up, but you have to figure out first what in the heck you're going to tear it up doing. Well, I want to offer you my 3-part e-course series entitled Career on Fire, 3 Steps to Your Next Level. It's absolutely free. It walks you through, it's 3 20-minute segments that walks you through different steps, activities to take to help you to figure out what that next step looks like for you. And something that's actually well suited for you, that's in tuned for you, that's going to help you to have the fulfillment that you want in your career, to have the impact that you want to have in your career, and just, to really help with that whole happiness and satisfaction factor. That's what it's designed for. Get your free copy at www.VashanaWeatherspoon.com, which is my name, Vashana Weatherspoon. And like I said, put in your details. It'll send you an email. You can have it in your inbox by the end of tonight. That's all I have for you tonight. I hope that you have taken this segment seriously and listened to some of the examples that I gave so that you can utilize your own examples in this exact same way to beef up your resume so that you can have the career that you desire in your 2019. Anyway, before I leave, like and share this video, tag a friend. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful night.